and that you face on a daily basis. And I also want to talk about MS and family, because a lot of people fail to realize a lot of people, they're quick to tell you what their issues are and what kind of problems they're facing. But what people don't tell you is how they deal with their family and how family deals with the issues that we face. So that's basically what I want to do. So comment down below, hit like, subscribe if you like the content that I am bringing to you. And that's basically what I want to talk about. I want to be able to have an open dialogue of some sort with people who go through the same things that I go through, because currently nobody in my family, my immediate family, goes through or knows what it is that I go through. Now, I do have an aunt, or aunt-in-law if you will, who suffers from multiple sclerosis, and my symptoms and her symptoms, though we have a lot of the same, we also have symptoms that differ. For instance, she can still drive, she can still see, but her hands are weak. She moves slow, and me personally, I can't see that well. So sitting here making this video, looking at the camera, I can't see myself because it's that far away. And for the most part, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how I deal with it, how my family deals with it. And I want to create an open space for other people, such as myself, who are constantly on YouTube looking for something to signify something that they are dealing with, or how they're supposed to deal with not being able to walk, or stumbling over their words, not being able to see, being weak, just not remembering. People don't realize that MS is something that affects your entire body from the inside out. And though the issues occur on the inside, they're reflected on the outside sometimes. Like, for instance, I'm disabled and I have a handicap sticker to determine my disability. But because I look okay on the outside, until I begin to walk and people see that I can't walk that well, I can't walk without assistance. So until people begin to see that, they think there's nothing wrong with me. And they think I'm just another person parking in a handicap park that don't need to be there. And not only that, my husband, his mom, my grandmother, just my whole entire family in general, immediate and extended, it's not always easy to explain what might be going wrong with me, because at some point it starts to feel like you're complaining or you're making an excuse, even though that's not the case, and physically you really can't. But anyway, that's what I want to talk about, and hopefully you find whatever it is that I'm talking about helpful to you in some sense. It helps you deal with somebody in your family. And if somebody's watching this who doesn't have a chronic illness, I pray that it helps you see what it is that we go through. So anyway, like I said, my name is Sasha. I don't see very well anymore, and I have multiple sclerosis, and I suffer from a lot of different odds and ends of multiple sclerosis, or whatever the case may be. So anyway, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm opening dialect about. So like I said, comment, like, subscribe, but either way, talk back to me. Let me know if what I say helps you, whatever it is that you're going through, or how you've dealt with a situation may help me. Let's help each other, if you will. Anyway, so one of the main reasons of this video is other than what I've said already, is not to necessarily, seek your sympathy or your empathy or however you want to look at it because of what I go through. The most important aspect of it is I want to talk about how you deal with family and how family deals with you. Because when I was first diagnosed, my husband, he couldn't understand what was happening with me. He couldn't understand. And for him to know me for as long as he has known me, and to know me to be the type of woman that I was, he couldn't wrap his mind around me falling down, or me saying that my face is numb, or saying that my arm is numb, or telling him I can't see. He couldn't wrap his mind around it. He thought I was doing it for attention. Until the first time he took me to the hospital, and I went, and that first time visit turned into a 7-day stay. So, and since then I've been in the hospital, I think twice. And I need to go now and make sure everything's okay, but I'm kind of fretting. I'm afraid of the hospital because usually when I go for a regular, just to make sure everything is okay, I wind up staying in the hospital, and I don't want to go in the hospital. But anyway, so yeah, one of the hardest things about MS, it's not the actual symptoms of MS, though they are very hard to deal with. One of the hardest parts about having MS is trying to get my family to understand what I can't do anymore. And that I'm not saying I can't do it simply because I'm trying to make an excuse to get out of it, or I'm sleeping all day because I'm actually tired. Even though I got a full night's sleep, it's not always enough. So sometimes, we just go through those things and they can't wrap their minds around it. And you can't blame them. You have to understand that this person is a person who's known you for however long, and they've known you to be this person in this way. And for me, like for myself, MS was something that hit me fast and hard. There was no easy way to ease into this for me. It was just, bam, here it is. This is what you have. When I was first diagnosed 4 years ago, I just knew that I would be okay. That, okay, I can handle this. And I was diagnosed with optic neuritis. And I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm going to just go and get my eyes checked, get me some glasses, then I'll be okay. And then I heard my eye doctor say to me, she don't know what's wrong with me, why I couldn't see out of my left eye. And that literally scared the hell out of me. To be told that by a professional that they don't know what's wrong with you. And then I have to be sent to a specialist to then be told, I think it's MS, because it's optic neuritis. And optic neuritis is a side effect of MS. And to later on, to cry about it and be afraid about it for that. I went through all of that. But then to soon find out that after an MRI and all that stuff, that MRI, a spinal tap, is just, and to find out that MS was the culprit, it was a hard pill for me to swallow, but I eventually swallowed hard and got that pill down and decided that I'm not going to let this beat me. I'm still work. I'm going to be okay. I'm still do everything it is that I want to do. And then it just hit me hard. And what became normal for me, it slowly began to get harder. It was harder for me to, do basic things like cook and clean up. And I was finding myself constantly tired all day. And then slowly it wore on my body. I kept trying to work. I was determined to keep my job because being without a job, I'm not about that life. I'm not. Anyway, I was determined. And it took my job from me because I became a liability to Amazon, which is a company I was working for at the time. But I became a liability to them. So eventually I had to walk away. And I've gone from this full life, 3 kids, somebody's wife. I've gone from that life to I have to walk with a cane. My kids worry about whether or not, I'm okay. When my husband hears the noise, he comes running because he's afraid that I've fallen yet again. But it's a lot to deal with. And I know for me, it's a lot to deal with, which means I know that there's somebody else out there who has to hear this. But I also just want to tell you that it's possible. You can overcome it. They say that it's pretty much a lifelong disease. There is no cure. We're stuck with this for the rest of our lives. But we can still live a successful life. Like, for instance, you have to depend on and fall back on your family. You have to let them help you. Be open to somebody helping you. Openly accept that help. It doesn't make you weak because you accept somebody else's help. It doesn't. And though it bugs the hell out of me that if I want to go to the store, I got to ask my husband to take me to the store. Or I got to ask his mom to take me to the store. Or somebody else to just take me to the store. Or it's hard for me to do certain things for my kids. I got to ask my oldest. I have to ask my 11-year-old to read his sister's homework to me because I can't see it. And because I can't see it, it's harder for me to help her with it, but I still try. In MS, I found some very, very interesting things, if you will. MS has its bad days. I have my good days. But one of the things that MS did do for me, one of the positive things that I pulled out of MS was I found my daddy when I was 27 years old because nobody in my family had ever heard of MS or knew exactly what it was or whatever the case may be. I'm also from a small town in Georgetown that, is just like nobody knew what it was, where it came from, how I got it. So I reached out to my father to see if, okay, well, maybe I got it from him. This is a man who didn't know me from a can of paint, didn't even know I existed. I was going on the whim of a name that I had. I was given a name when I was about 10, 11 years old. And I just held on to his name. Never knowing why I held on to it, but I held on to it. And so in MS, I found him. In MS, I also discovered that writing is what I want to do. Writing is a calming space for me. So I write. It's kind of hard now because my vision is messing with me really, really bad right now. So it is hard, but I have to fall back on my family. I have to use, they help me in more ways than they know. And so that's why I say that it's okay to openly accept the help of other people. Everybody is not always out to harm you or hurt you. And that's something that you have to learn and accept. And so anyway, like I said, like, comment, let me know what you think about this video. And from here on out, we can go farther. We can open up a dialogue about regular people like you and me who suffer from a chronic illness of any kind, and about the family that has to deal with those family members that suffer from chronic illnesses, that don't understand why you're in a bad mood, or why you're crying, or you say you're hurting but they don't really see anything wrong with you. So for the family members who have to deal with that, this video is for you too. And what I want to say to you is,